This is just a little lunch tray, or whatever you want to call it, a small little tray that I probably picked up at a yard sale or somewhere. I found in my stash, and I just painted it white, spray painted it white. Okay. So I don't know if I've asked any questions. Can you use Slick Stick on the mirror instead of the all-purpose sealer? Nancy, I think you could. Slick Stick was what I had ordered to try. The pens are Pen Arts contour liners. Yes, they are. And I think Slick Stick would do the same thing. Yes, it would. I just haven't used it, but I'm sure. I see all kinds. Kathy D uses Slick Stick all the time. And but now, from what the lady told me a couple of weeks ago, they've changed their name from Slick Stick to Bonding Boss. So you may not be able to order Slick Stick. If you do, she said Bonding Boss, that is all by Dixie Belle. So she said Bonding Boss is the same thing. But I didn't keep that. I sent it back because I wanted to try the Slick Stick. So, but I'm sure you can. Yeah, that would work too. Okay, this little tray, I have painted it white. Just painted it a white color. Now, when I printed this one, when I printed this out, if you're printing your own, I printed this on, the rice paper that we buy is a little longer and has to be cut to fit the 8.5 by 11. So the longer side, if you print on, what is the mode on the printer? Gosh, I think it's legal. Okay, if you go on your printer and you click the legal size on your printer will give you their standard size. It'll give you 5 by 7, 4 by 5s, so on. But it also has a setting for legal. And this is what I printed that out on. It was called legal, and it made it, I cut it out from that, but it made it that long. It's longer than a standard piece of paper, but it's not as long as the big print that I showed you a while ago. Let's see if I got another one printed over here in the legal size, and I'll show you before I cut it out. Okay, this one, see, I printed this one in legal size. This one wrinkled on me. But I printed it on the big paper, but I printed it in the legal size. So see how much it took it down? It took it down here and here. You know, it made it smaller on the page instead of using that whole page. And that allowed me, see, that one I could fit on here too. I was trying to find something that fit my tray pretty good without losing a lot of the design. So you might try that if you're printing, you know, if you're printing your own, you can try that and use that size. Oh, my throat is scratchy. Where my drink is at. Okay. Oh. Okay, this white, see, this is dry. Now this is ready to work on. All ready to go, okay? You're ready to do your decoupage on it. And if you wanted it to stay white, if you was going to paint over top of it and wanted it to stay white, knock my stuff off, then you would have to paint a couple more coats of white on there to get it covered good. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to paint some around this thing. This little lady is one I had designed last year. And she's got a lot of purple on her. Slick Stick now is Bonding Boss by Dixie Belle. That's what I thought. That's what the lady told me. So if you're going to order it, Nancy, if you're going to order some, then look for Bonding Boss. And you will get the same thing as Slick Stick. And I think this stuff that I use, like I said, I've had it for years, but I don't know if it's on Amazon or not. But I know Dick Blick has it. DickBlick.com does have that. Okay, I've cut this, and I'm going to go in with some of my metallics, and I'm going to go paint this. Before I put this in here, I'm going to paint that edge, paint that around there. So I cut it out. I went in, took my fingernail and a pencil, and made my markings around there to cut that out, you know, the way it needs to go in there. Okay? And then I So now I'm going to mix me some paint, and I'm going to try to pick up this blue. There's a real pretty, it's like a metallic blue around here on this bowl. That's what I'm going to try to play on for my outside trim. So I'm going to use this. This is called Desert Turquoise in the metallic. And I'm going to mix a little bit of it with some black, and that's what I'm going to paint the edge of my tray. This too is a pretty quick. You know, anytime you can get a pattern that covers your whole piece, then you're 3 steps ahead. You already have slick stick. Okay, Nancy, just use that. Yeah, try that over your glass. You can, and you can use that over the metal too, because I see Kathy D, she uses slick stick, and it seems like there's something else that she used. Pin Art makes one too, but I've not used it. But she puts it, she starts with a tray, just a raw tray, and then coats it and puts that on there, so that, you know, you can do that too. I just like to, I'm used to spraying mine. You know, when you get used to doing something and it works for you, it's hard. That's like, you know, when you're cooking, it's hard to change something when you know it works for you. So, you know, that's just the situation there. If it don't work for me, then I would be looking for something else that did. But if it works for me the way it is, I'm going to leave it alone. You're always looking for a better mousetrap. If it'd make it better for me, then that'd be good. You know, I'd be using something. That's like using Mod Podge. That's why I use Mod Podge, because Mod Podge works perfect for me. So I see no reason to change to one of the others, because I have good results with it. Okay, I'm mixing me some paint over here, and I took my blue, my turquoise blue, and I put some black in it. And this will take a couple of coats to get around the tray. It's making kind of a silvery blue, is what I've got. The good thing too, when we turn that video in the other direction, you can see my paint palette and all. So I like that. I like being able to see what I'm mixing and what I'm using. Be able to see what I'm doing there. Okay, I'm going to take my brush, and I'm going to try not to get too far down. I'm going to go right around here. This has got a little lip in here, so I'm going to go down in that and just come straight around. Come straight down through here and see if I can get down in there, you know, far enough without, I don't want to get down in there too far where my paper's going to be. And I sprayed it with a coat of white, using the white, Rust-Oleum white. Okay. You've not shown nothing for a while, Nancy. Usually we get to see your projects. You have to show us what you're working on. Sometimes you just get burnt out. You want to do something different, something, you know, and it's the way with teaching. Sometimes you get burnt out and you wonder, now what am I going to teach them today? What are we going to do? Okay, I'm going right around. Right around the circle. Just finished a teapot. Okay, good. We'd like to see that. I got a teapot prepped, and I thought I might do one like I did that. I've got one tea set that's on Pinterest that hits, you know, I've had so many hits on. That old big one. And it's done in a blue, a turquoise that I got from Lowe's. And I found that jar with that, so I may do one and use that turquoise and work one with you and do, because I did the top of that with my fingers. I sponge painted, but I did it with my fingers on top of that vase, and I may do that to show you how to do that. Okay. Well, Debbie, did Debbie leave us? You haven't said anything, Debbie. We're waiting for you to chat. I need to get it down in there far enough to where the paper comes right up to the paint. But I'm going to try not to get it under the paper. You had to leave clothes in the dryer. Where did you get this tray? It's a yard sale thing. Probably yard sale or thrift store. This is an old one. It might have come in all that silver stuff from that lady. If it did, it was last year that I got it. But it's just a piece from a, you know, from yard sale or the thrift store or wherever. It's not anything that I bought in the store. Be good to make a display on for Halloween, or just to, you know, if you put you some candles stuff on it for Halloween piece. Any more people decorate as much for Halloween as they do for Christmas. Hope I'm not losing my voice. Scratchy. I think it's just the allergies or what it is. I left Maddie doing laundry. I told her to be. Okay. I don't mind doing the laundry as long as I don't have to fold them. I hate to fold clothes. I'd rather wash dishes all day as fold clothes. I have to put 2 coats on this, maybe even 3 to get a good coverage on there. Now I'm going to check my print and see if I've got it covered down in there. Train prints would be popular in this area. Norfolk and Western, yeah, and C&O rail lines, yeah. One of the girls sent me a message this morning and asked me if I would do one of the New York train station and the thing, you know, and I told her I said I have no idea even what the train station looks like. Okay, now I'm going to have to go down just a little bit farther. In most spots there, the ends looks pretty good, but the edges I need to go down a little deeper. It's harder now because there's so many people designing now. It's like Etsy. It's overloaded. Etsy's in as much trouble right now as Facebook is. People are losing their pages and, you know, they're doing a thing. They're just, it's a mess. And they've let so many, it's not handmade stuff anymore as much as it's it's getting to be a shopping place like Amazon. So it makes it harder to, you know, if you're a handmade person, harder to sell stuff because they sell any kind of paint and stuff like that you can buy on Etsy. It didn't used to be like that. Everything had to be handmade. Okay, now let's see. So it's a lot harder on there too than it is. Sometimes those companies get so greedy, like Facebook is so greedy with making $1 that they don't care whether we make any money or not. Because they know if you step out, somebody else is going to step in your place. I do. Iron jeans. Oh gosh, you iron jeans. I haven't had in fact, I had to buy me an iron to, I forgot what I was doing, but something, and I had to go buy an iron. I hadn't used one in so long I didn't have one. Isn't it funny? We used to iron when we was kids. We used to iron pillowcases and sheets and underwear, and you know, Mommy made you iron everything. Of course, we didn't have clothes dryers then; they hung up. She made us girls. We had to do our own. You know, we had chores to do all the time. We had to make our bed before we left for school in the morning and clean up your room. And, you know, you didn't go to school and leave your bed unmade. But anyway, ironing was something. And then, you know, you had to do what you called sprinkle your clothes. You had to sprinkle them with water because you didn't have steam irons. So, Mommy would tell you over and over and over, you need to get your laundry done. You need to get your ironing done. You need to get it done. Get it done. And you'd put it off and put it off and put it off. And then it'd come Friday night and you'd want to go to the ball game and get ready to go out to the ball game or to school for something. And she'd say, you're not going nowhere till your ironing's done. So then you was spending all evening trying to catch up with your ironing and stuff so you could go out for the evening. You rushed and rushed and then tried to get all your chores done so they'd let you go. Got to get down a little farther in a few spots there. Try to get around with that second coat. Debbie, that's true. We had to understand. Then Daddy wore boxers, and they was white, you know, white boxers. So we had to iron them. Had to iron his t-shirts. My brothers and them had to iron their t-shirts. We ironed everything. I'd say towels was about the only thing we didn't iron. I had two sisters, so there was three of us, so we done the ironing and the thing. I tell my girls that if you had to wash dishes like we had to, because we didn't have running water, and you know, in the house, you had to go outside and to the pump and get water, and then you had to heat. I said, if you had to wash dishes the way we had to wash them growing up, you would never complain from turning the faucet on and washing the dishes. Wanda, what are you asking? What? Iron jeans for 6 brothers and overall. Yeah, Lord, I don't. I had 4 brothers, but my oldest brother was much older than me, so he'd already left home. So we had 3 boys at home when I was growing up. And we had to iron their clothes too. And shirts, you had to iron. I remember when Daryl and I got married and ironing his shirts, and you had to put them creases. He wanted creases in the back of them. You had to turn them a certain way and crease them. Iron pants with a crease in them pants. And phew. It was amazing when they come out with, what was that fabric called that we used so many years? I can't remember what it was, but when that come out and it was wrinkled, you didn't have to, it didn't have as much wrinkles in it. You didn't have to iron as much. But everything when we was growing up, most of it was cotton. Had to iron our dad's underwear. You didn't have to do that, Wanda? Did you not have to iron? Oh, Wanda, you was lucky. Oh, you was lucky. Did somebody iron for you? We were raised too. My dad had a business and worked, and he worked all of kids in the neighborhood. Boys and young boys worked for him because he was loaded hay and stuff, you know. So we never, I told my girls, we never sat down to a meal at our house that we didn't have extra. And a lot of times even at breakfast, we had extra mouths because the guys had come to work for the day for Daddy on the junkyard and stuff, and they'd come in for breakfast. So we always had 3 or 4 extra people at the table when you eat too. My mom was a good cook, and she never used a recipe. She was a good cook. But when we all grew up and left home and she had a business, she went in the store by herself. She and my brother and sister had a business together, and she quit cooking. And sometimes, the only time she'd cook then was holidays. And she, every evening when she left work at the store, she lived beside me, but when she left work at the store, she'd eat with one of us girls, me and Sheila and Connie. So two daughters and a daughter-in-law all lived there together, and she would eat with us different at the evening. So I'd call her and tell her, I'd say, Mom, supper's about ready. And she'd say, what are you fixing? And I'd tell her, and she'd say, well, I think I'll see what Sheila's got, and then I'll let you know. So she'd check to see what each of us was cooking of the evening before she'd decide where she's going to eat. She was never a babysitter for our kids. She'd raised so many kids. She always told us, she said, now, I'm not going to be babysitting your kids, because wherever you go, I'm going to go with you. So she'd travel with us all the time and go, but now she didn't do no babysitting. She'd done her share of it. Okay, I think I've got that coat all the way around there. See, that's a real pretty shade of blue, and that's hard to see, hard for you to see what color blue it is. Okay, I think I'll go ahead and paint the handles. Put a coat on the handles. Then we'll be ready to decoupage that witch in there. The work thing is getting in my way of keeping up. 366 days till I retire. You're counting the days. No, I'm not counting. Oh gosh. You know, when you work from home, you don't, I was always grateful that I worked, you know, had my own business, because we could travel. You know, if we took a notion to go somewhere, do something, or, you know, vacation and stuff, I didn't have to worry about taking a day off, because I owned my business. But we worked around Daryl's job, but I never got to retire. I tried that when we first come to Tennessee. When Stacy passed away and I come to Tennessee, I thought, I've quit. And I packed it all away and quit. And that lasted less than a year. And I went nuts. And the kids had Miranda to take care of too, and she's in high school, but still all day long I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I had to go back at it. That's when I opened another Etsy shop. Or got, back in the shows. I set out that show 1 year, and then I was right back at it again. But now if I don't want to work a day, I don't work. And I like that. I'm not to the point where I want to be, to where I have to work, to do. And it may reach that point when Daryl passes away before me. It may reach that point. Because when you're dependent on 2 incomes and then all of a sudden you lose one, then that makes a big difference. Okay, I've got my handles and my things painted on there. Now, the handles will have to have another coat, but I can do that as we go. Debbie, he's about the same. Not much difference. The nurse was here this morning. he's gripey as can be, and he eats all the time, but he's not, you know, his lungs sounds good. He's just real weak, you know, and he sleeps a lot. Just about, you know, what you can expect. So it's just one day at a time. But the nurse usually comes on Mondays. The hospice nurse is usually here every Monday, but since it was a holiday, and she was here today since she had a Monday holiday, that put her schedule off a little bit this week. So she's come today. Okay, let's turn that this way. She comes every week, and he won't let the nurse give him a bath that comes to bathe him, so she don't have to come. And then we see the social worker comes once a month to see if you need anything. They're good. They're a good bunch of people. And I can call anytime, you know, if something comes up. They said if I wanted to travel, they would even make arrangements for, if I wanted to get away for a while, they would even make arrangements for somebody to stay with him, or they would put him in a facility, like a nursing facility or something, for a few days if I want to travel. But he don't want me to leave, so, you know, I'd like to. I may and take a couple of days and go visit my family in West Virginia, but if I do that, Joe, just for a couple of days, Joe will stay with him. But we went to Florida last summer, and he didn't like that while I was gone. He didn't want me to go. Okay, I'm still going to have to put a few things here. Well, I hope I didn't lose anybody. My iPad says the video ended. So, I'm still on here, aren't I? Okay, I'm going right down here and putting in a few spots where I need to cover that over. I'll probably have to go back with a small brush. Okay, I'm ready to go in and to decoupage this on here. That blue is real pretty with that color. See how pretty that is with the blue thing? So I'm going to put it in. Then I'm going to put a border around here, so I'll have to decide whether I paint again or whether I put some bling around there that gets that in there. So I'm ready for my Mod Podge. My glue. I'm going to get my glue here and get me a brush. Nancy, yeah, I'm still here. See now my iPad. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my iPad is because it's old or why it does that, but it just went off. It just popped off over here, and it says video has ended. Live has ended. Live video has ended. Okay, I'm going to pick this up about halfway back and put me some glue under there. Same as usual. When I do a July auction, it's going to be Christmas. I'm working on getting some Christmas things, and I've got some Christmas stuff in my building. This one next week, this one I'm going to do Monday. I've got lots of smalls in it, lots of bottles and, you know, decorated bottles with lights in them, and a lot of them that I need to get out of here. So I'm going to have lots of smalls in this next auction. And then July I'll have a Christmas auction. And some fall pieces. Okay, got that one side in there. Turn it around. Go right back in with this side. You're a good loving wife. Thank you, Debbie. He's been so good to me. My brothers and sisters always, you know, always talked about that because he's always so good to me. And I said, yeah, he's so good to me, he lets me be boss. He always, anything we done, it was whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. You know, if that's what you want to do, that's what we do. So, sometimes now, though, he don't do that. But he's mine, and that's hard. He don't, you know, he doesn't, his hearing aids, he can't do much with his hearing aids anymore, so that makes it hard, because I can't make him understand. He won't leave the batteries alone in his hearing aids, so he's all the time saying the batteries are dead. And you put new batteries in, and 20 minutes later, he's telling you, you got any batteries? You got any batteries? My batteries are dead. So, and that makes it even harder, because you can't talk to him. I can't, you know, can't make him understand, or have to get right in his ear to talk to him, because he's deaf. Okay. Couple little spots here I'm going to fill in, then we'll top coat that thing. I like this. Be pretty display for Halloween. Okay, now see how pretty that is. Got that in there. See, this blue in this little thing right here just kind of pulls that blue right out of there. Now the handles will get another coat, so I'm going to go back in and put a coat of Mod Podge over top of my picture to seal that print in. Figured Morgan would have called by now. They'd be back to school. I'm glad school's out. I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning no more. For a while. What y'all having for supper today? I think I'm going to make some hot dogs. Might get ambitious and make some French fries. I like homemade French fries. I love homemade onion rings, but they make such a mess to make them. I don't do them very often, but I like them. Okay, now I'm going to dry that real quick, because I think we'll go back in with some stickles and put some accents on this lady. So I'm going to quickly dry that, and then we'll put a little bit of wax around the sides and put some decorations on the inside. Dries real quick. I got one little corner down here where it's not glued down. Right here. Yeah, that is pretty. See how pretty that is? Just goes in there real good. Now I'm going to figure out something. I'm going to put some beads or a border around that. Let's see what we've got. Go around this with some beads. See what I've got down here that I can put around there. I've got some different bead trim. I've got some, I don't think I'll use the pearls. I don't want to put pearls on it. That's too fancy for pearls. This bling trim here. Let's see what that looks like around there. No, I don't want that either. me see what I've got. Hold on just a minute, girls. Let me see what I got over here in this thing. I've got some trim here that's self-sticking. Let's see what we've got here in colors. See what we've got. This is all stick. Yeah, and it's variegated, so we can use different. We go around it with that. I think I got this on Amazon, and it's all sticking. It's called Diamond Ribbon, and it's all, you just peel and stick. So this one's got all different colors in it. Let's see what this looks like when we unroll it. See, we've got this. Well, I don't know if I like that or not. What do you think? We put that around there. That's a little bit too bright, don't you think? Purple beads. Let's see if I've got, I think I've got some purple beads. Dig through big freezer. Found 2 filet mignons. They're for supper. That's a good thing, Debbie. I learned to do steaks in the oven, and I like them, you know, because it used to be you didn't do nothing but put them on the grill. But after I learned to do them in the oven, I really like that. We've got to do some work in our laundry room. That's what I told Joe. My freezer's got to come out and go outside because I've got to clean it. And I can't clean it in there. I've got some purple beads here, but I don't know if I got enough. I believe I might have enough to go around that tray. Yeah, I believe I do. Okay, these are the self-stick kind. I think we've got enough. Let me check here and see, because one package of them's all I've got. Too many colors in that one. That's what I thought too, Wanda. Too many. Let's see what these look like. These are purple. I'm wondering if I'll have enough to go around. See that? You can see up. That'll be pretty. That's just one strand of purple around to there. Let me see if I've got one more package of them before I get into putting them on there, because I may not be able to get any more. Got some little purple ones. Let's see what else I've got. Come on, I need one more package. You might know I don't have. I've got some of this color. I could probably interchange them a little bit. Nope, that one package of purple's all I've got. But I've got these darker ones. Let's see if we could interchange. Put purple on the sides and the dark ones on the other side. So these are the self-sticking kind. Let's go with this one and see where we go from here. What are those? What are they called? You find them at Hobby Lobby, and they are in the Paper Studio. Paper Studio, you'll find them. That's in the scrapbook section. Okay, go to Hobby Lobby and go to the scrapbook section. Or if you're looking online, do a search for Paper Studio and see what you get. I love them because they stick down and they stay. And if you want to you do a tray in resin, you can resin right over top of them. Yeah, that I like. See, that's really pretty. See, that is I like. But I don't know if I've got enough. I'm going to put the 2 sides on, and then if I don't have enough for the ends, I'm going to put a different color on the ends. So I'm going to put this one on over here, because if I go back to Hobby Lobby, I may find them, I may not. So and you can curve them. See, you can put them in a curve, just go right around something and curve them around. And they've got good, really good sticky on the back. Good stick stuff on them. Okay, now I need to go right here a little bit farther on this side. 1, 2, 3. You can just cut them apart and then pull off whatever you want to put on there. Just don't take them off of your backing until you get ready to use them, because once they're off, they're off. Okay, got that one. And I need about 3 over here. And I can spray this one. I can spray varnish this right over top of the beads. Doesn't really affect them to put the varnish on. Now I don't have enough to go down both sides, so I'm going to use these darker ones. I'm going to go with this color on the ends and put them in. So I need to go from there to that one. I'm going to interchange 2 colors here. Yeah, well, that one sticky come up. I used a ton of these when I was doing the Christmas ornaments. One more bead on there. Just one. So you can put them in one at a time. Woo! That one popped right out. Putting resin over them guarantees that they're going to stay. You know, if you pour resin over it and go right over top of them, then you know they're going to stay in there. I've got to get this one. Measure this one and see how many I need down to here. Yep, that looks good. Gives it just enough bling to look good. Just enough color. See there? See how pretty that is? Yeah. Now I'm going to go back in with some stickles. Let me get this out of my way before I have it all over the place. I'll have to come back out here tonight and do a cleanup. It's like cooking. When you cook and you get stuff all over the kitchen, and then you then you got to clean everything before you start again. And that's what I'll have to do this evening. Now I'm going to get me some stickles, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to highlight a few things on her hat. And the stickles, you can get stickles from Amazon, and they come in all different colors. I've got a purple one here. The only thing is, when you put your stickles on, you're done for the day, because that, you know, they have to dry. You'll find them. You have to let them totally dry. You know, they won't, you got to give them time to dry. You can't play around them. So I'm going to use some purple. Let's see, I've got some, I don't have any blue, so I've got this little highlight here on this little pot. I'm going to take a little bit of white along that highlight and highlight that little pot a little bit with some stickles. These come in a tube, just like if you've not used them. It's just glitter in a tube. And it's just like using the pearl, liquid pearl. You do the same thing as the liquid pearl. And that don't want to come out. Well, I can't get that one out of the tube. I have to play with that one. The thing is, the tops don't come off. So when you get one that won't come out and you keep punching a pin down in it and all, it still don't come out. You know, doesn't come out any better. Okay, that one's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right along the edge of this pot here with just a little fine line of the glitter. It's just glitter in a tube with it just puts you a highlight on there. Come right up here and highlight this little edge a little bit. Then I'm going to go right here and highlight this little edge of this little bottle. Right here on this little, everything that's white here, I'm putting a little bit of stickles on the white parts that just kind of pulls them out. See that? You can see, you have to kind of turn it to see the stickles. I don't know if you can see them on there or not, girls. You can't hardly turn. But I've done right here around this face, around this, I got a candle down in here, and I went right around it with the white. Okay, now I've got some purple here. I'm going to go up here in the flowers, these little roses here, and I'm going to highlight a few little pieces on these roses here. And this way, it's hard, you got to be careful not to get your hands in it, so come right up here and put me a little bit around this rose, tip of this rose a little bit, just in a few spots. And that's the purple, and I'm going to put a little bit on her hat in a few places. Go right across the hat band, the top edge of her hat here. Put a little streak across there that separates the band from the hat. Just like using the way we use paint when we highlight something, I'm using these stickles right where I think that need to be highlighted. And it's stuck in the bottle. I'm at work. Hey Karen, good to see you. Pop in, pop out, huh? Well, see, that don't want to come out of the tube either. That makes a problem when you got something like this in the tube, when you thing stops up. I keep a stick pin over here. You have to go down there and clean out your tube a little bit and hope that it passes right on by out of there. Okay, now we got it. Highlight a few of the little wrinkles in her hat. A little up the top of her head up here. Just in a few little places. So I've got purple. Don't have any purple over here in this side. I'm going to put a few streaks of this white in her hair. Her hair is gray. So I'm going to come right down through here and put a few little strands of hair. Stickles in her hair. Just to highlight her hair a little bit. Just going with the strands the way her hair goes around there. Okay, now let's see if I've got some pink. Yep, I've got a pink over here, and we'll come back with some pink and do those, a little bit of those flowers, and then I think we'll have it about done. Got a little pink one here. Hey, Bonnie. We're just playing. Okay, I'm going to highlight these flowers just a little bit in a few spots. Some pink glitter. Just kind of go with the shape of your design. Put a few little colors in there. Okay, I think I've about got it. I don't know if you can see, well, when I turn it, you should be able to just see the glitter, how it glitters a little bit. Don't show very much hardly on the thing. But I've just hit some spots with the stickles just enough to get it, to get a little bit of glitter in there. And I think I got it done, girls. Now I'm going to put a little bit of wax around that blue. Let's go back and wax that little bit of Rub and Buff just to put a little variation in there. Kathy's staying. She was, Bonnie, or is she gone? She's a sweet lady. I like Kathy. She was staying with you for a few days. That's good. I'm glad she got to visit you. She took a trip, said that's the first time she'd done that, and that was amazing. I'm glad she got to go. Okay, I'm going to take my gold Rub and Buff. Put a little bit over here on the palette, so get it in there. I'm going to take me an old brush that I use for using the waxes in, and I'm just going to come in here and just kind of hit the high. Go around this top a little bit. With just a little bit of the Rub and Buff on the top. You could do that with the rag, or you could do it with the brush. I'll go back with the rag on this one. Pull that a little bit. Yeah. Okay. It's just an old t-shirt. I cut up old t-shirts to make rags out of them. If you get too much of this on there, more than you like, you can go right back in with your paint and clean it back off. I've got it on quite heavy here. Okay, I think I got it done. That turned out to be pretty good for just a quick little project. Okay, we are done. See how pretty it is? That is pretty. Had a lot of fun with her, Bonnie. She's a funny lady.